Orgasmic enlightenment, where the sexual and spiritual come together. I'm Kim Anami, and I'm a holistic sex and relationship coach and a vaginal weightlifter. In this show, we explore all things intimate. I believe that our sexual energy is life force, creative energy, and we can use it to shape our worlds, strengthen our relationships, and self-actualize. I blend the most avant-garde information from neuroscience, ancient sexual practices like Tantra and Taoism, to renegade wellness modalities to show you how to create gourmet sex in your lives. Come one, come all. I make all my decisions from my vagina. Truth teller extraordinaire. People talk about our head brain, and lately more and more people talk about our heart brain, and now people are talking about the gut brain. Well, I assert that there is also a vagina brain. It is a sentient entity capable of making decisions and guiding us in our lives. The vagina brain is a pleasure compass, a divining rod for bliss. It propels you in the direction of the people and opportunities that are the most aligned for you and will bring you ultimate fulfillment in your life. There is one caveat though. Your vagina has to be in tune, awakened, aware, sentient, and pleasure informed. You know the way everyone says trauma informed these days? Well, your vagina needs to be the opposite. It has to be pleasure informed. If the vagina is numb, it won't be. Its voice will be silent. It may be speaking, but you've spent so many years, decades perhaps, overriding it by slathering on the lube and saying yes when you really wanted to say no, that its voice has been muted by you. Or if you've had a traumatic past full of insults and injuries to your vagina and sexual self, if you've taken on a host of limiting beliefs and ideas by the culture at large from your family, your religion, then the voice of your vagina and sexual self may be muted. It may lead you towards people and situations that recreate traumatic events like a magnet. And these experiences have been hardwired into your nervous system, and until you clear them out, you'll keep drawing in similar things. We've all had the experience of attracting the same kinds of partners or relationships, and this is why. The issues in our tissues, as Wim Hof likes to say, remain until we consciously clear them out. There's a lot of talk about nervous system resetting these days, and this is a very valid idea that I agree with. In order to change the patterns that we feel inexorably drawn to repeat, we have to do a factory reset and remove the distortions. People have all kinds of suggestions for how to do this, from breathwork to polyvagal theory, and the list goes on. Nothing, and I say nothing, resets your ANS, your autonomic nervous system, like deep orgasm. Nothing. The French phrase le petit mort, the little death, and rebirth reflects this idea that through our orgasm, we are reborn. We self-actualize. So my work is all about the deeper life force potential of our sexual energy. How can we harness this energy for healing, rejuvenation, transformation, and of course, ecstasy? So the name of the game is to clear away the cobwebs, the debris, the detritus that obscures our pure expression and flow. Because once we are in tune with this energy, our sexual selves, and the voice of our vagina, it becomes the ultimate decision maker and compass in our lives. We come to a fork in the road. We turn towards one. Our vagina pulses and throbs. We turn towards the other. Our vagina contracts and falls silent. We get offered a wonderful opportunity. Our vagina tingles with a brush of pleasure. We jump on it, or him, or we feel nothing. The vagina always knows. In today's All-Star interview, we are speaking with Amanda of the legendary superpower couple Amanda and Mark. They have both been on the podcast multiple times, individually and together, in the episodes Cock Lovers of the World Unite, The Well-Fucked Man, How to Talk to Children About Sex, and one of my favorites, the multi-million-dollar blowjob. We love them, and I know that you do too. We last heard an update in this penultimate episode, the multi-million-dollar blowjob, where Amanda shares how a series of 90-minute oral sex sessions led to the biggest breakthrough and up-level in their business that's now led them to moving across the planet into a whole new stratosphere of life. Like I'm always saying, gourmet sex and an activated vagina get you rich. In this interview today, Amanda talks about the importance of keeping up with her own sensual practices, even when her partner is there, and also when they've been separated for long periods of time. She has amazing quantum reality shattering stories of using her vagina's guidance to lead her in the right direction in her life, how the jade egg and breast massage practices I teach in Vaginal Kung Fu keep her connected with her feminine energy and living a life of perpetual wetness. Well-fucked All-Stars! All right, welcome Amanda, returning Well-fucked All-Star from the Hall of Fame. So great to see you. You look amazing.
Thank you very much for having me back.
So let's hear an update. You've been on the podcast several times already, talking about everything from multi-million-dollar blowjobs to deep throating as a way of healing throat issues to how to navigate children and sex. And we'd love to hear of your latest escapades, especially connected to tapping into your feminine energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it has been quite the journey, even hearing you mention those interviews from before. There's things that even I've forgotten about. But that multi-million-dollar blowjob really led to some big changes in our lives, which, as you know, we'll be moving across country, but across the world, actually, to another country. So there's been a lot has been happening in the last 12 to 24 months. I would have started my journey with you in 2020, and coming into 2024, there's been a full scope of activities and growth, and just it keeps going and going, like the depths to which you can explore the personal growth is just spectacular. So as I say, we're moving from Australia, we're going to move to America. And as a result of that, Mark has been traveling quite a bit to set that up for the move, setting up the business over there, setting up our house where we're going to live, which has led to me in the last probably 9 months spending a lot more time by myself. So the practices from VKF have really come into play, because I started my work with you with Well-Fucked Woman, and I came for the orgasms, to be honest. I came because we already had amazing sex and I just wanted to have more amazing sex. I would listen to your podcast and think, oh, if I can get even better than what I've already got, then why not? So, I came for the Well-Fucked Woman, and what that opened up to me was what I thought I knew about my own body. There was so much more to it. And then I realized I need to do VKF as well. And VKF, the difference for Vaginal Kung Fu, I just found it to be such an internal journey. Well-Fucked Woman was more partner-driven. Vaginal Kung Fu is a real experience with yourself and getting to know yourself and getting to know all the parts and places within yourself that are pleasure, but there's also pain and sadness and just all the emotions. It's amazing. So with him now, bringing that back to him traveling, the practices that I have from BKF to keep me feeling my feminine self and feeling just in my own body as a woman have been just so important to me. So they're just a practice. When I have my husband around, he can reset me like that. It's very easy working with the polarity. Not very easy, but it's easier when you have that masculine energy that is there. And I find when he travels, my masculine energy will rev up and I will get into a real, I've got to get shit done. Like there's a lot to do. I'm here by myself. I've got plenty of kids, the business, the house, all the schedules to run. And so I can get into a real, very masculine mode of doing and doing. And then I find myself getting a bit frenzied and I'll feel really up in the air and everything's all the time. And to bring myself back into my body, sometimes I'll just be at the supermarket and you give us exercises in VKF around the breasts, and I can just stand in the store and just feel myself and bring myself back to my heart center. And it's usually in one of those moments where I'm becoming so frenzied that I will think, when was the last time I did my egg practice? And it doesn't usually get away from me too much. Sometimes I can go a week. Sometimes probably the longest would be 2 weeks, but I can feel it in my body if I haven't used my egg that, yeah, I will be out of my body and then I will use my egg and it brings me back into my body and I can feel the act of the exercises that you give us in VKF bring you back into yourself. It contracts you back in, for me, it contracts me back into who I am. But in doing that, contracting myself back in, I am able to be calm and more expanded to everybody else. Where when I get into that masculine mode of doing all the time, I'm so up here in my head, I'm not connected to anything. I'm just busy checking the things off my list and getting it done. And it's not calm, it's not peaceful, it's chaotic. And then I will come back to doing my daily practices and it's just home. You just feel home back in your body again. So I think I got a bit off tangent, but I think I answered your question.
Oh, it's good. I think that the whole, you have a very passionate, loving relationship where you have a wonderful place to be able to really live in that feminine energy with a beautiful complement of a masculine partner, but you're in a unique situation where if he's away a lot, then yes, it can be easy to then animate more of our masculine to stay on top of things and keep the engine of our lives going. And so I think the challenge for women is to realize that there's a way to actually be productive and effective even when they're in their feminine energy. I think we default from whatever programming, what we see at large in the culture, that the only way to get things done is with like a hustle, take a sort of action, be in motion, a really obvious looking way of achieving things, where the magnetic feminine is a very different way of cultivating and building that feminine energy, that inner connection, and our sensual vaginal connection is a really key part of that. And then noticing that we have a different kind of flow out in the world. We're able to magnetize and attract things to us when we're actually more productive when we're in that energy space rather than overextending. When we're in harmony, we actually bring things to us easier. There's a flow and a synchronicity that happens and that's the challenge for women, is overcoming that idea that we need to be actively looking like we're busy to get things done, and instead go inside. And like the best inside there is into the vagina, because it naturally, as we're having that deep sexual connection, it naturally spills out into that trust. I feel like a big part of that is a sense of trust in the world and ease in the world, that when you're out in the world, you're not like in that kind of adversarial, kind of taking on the world. You're like, no, the world and the universe are working with me and for me. And as long as I can sync up with that flow, it's like catching a wave when you're surfing. Once you get on the wave, if it's a powerful enough wave, it'll carry and propel you forward.
exactly what you just said. The connection to universe it's incredible when you're really connected to your inner self. And the jade egg crystal, the crystal qualities themselves, like I can just meditate holding the egg, and the feelings that wash through my body just from that, the energies of the crystal itself. But then to put it inside you, almost like a switch comes over me, and it's galactical. Like I feel like my pussy is the galaxy and universe itself. And everything that's out here comes into me. And the flow that just comes from that, it's such a state of peace and calm and just knowing, just the trust. And I've expressed it to Mark before, I feel like there's this beam of connection between source and my spirit that work together. And things, I don't know if I've told you this story before, but things will happen at work where things will go missing. And I genuinely, when I am that in touch and that connected, and I'm doing my practices every morning, I can listen to my pussy and she will tell me where to go to find this missing item. You can feel, for me, it's like a pleasure pulsing that I can just trace, oh, it's down this way. I know it's going to be down there. And then it will be. So, but when I'm less connected, which does happen, and I will say, Kim, as well, when he's home, it's easy to forget to do the egg work, but the connection again changes. Just because I'm working my polarity against my femininity against his masculinity, it's not the same as being connected to your feminine within your own polarity in myself. So when I'm using my own tools, there's a depth of connection to myself, a depth of trusting my own self, trusting that the universe has me, compared to when I'm trusting him and he's got me and it's fine and I can sort of let things loose and let things go. And we do have an incredibly active sex life. So when he's home, we love to have sex in the morning, but I also do my practices in the morning. And I'll give you the reason why in a second. But when he's home and we're having sex every morning, sometimes it'll reach 11:30, 12 o'clock in the day, and I'll realize, I didn't do my egg because I did him. So it's it's easy to forget, but I only forget for a few hours, and then I realize, I need to go back and do that, and I will make the time if I remember during the day, because when I remember, it's because it's a message from the universe or my inner knowing that you need to come back to yourself. You're not feeling fully embodied in the feminine, so you need to do your practices to help you get back there. And it's kind of counterintuitive because it is a need to do these things, but it's not coming from that masculine doing. It's just my mantra for the year is to allow, open, and receive. And just whenever I find myself feeling that frenzy and tizzy in myself, I just stop, take a breath, I allow, I open, and then I receive. And that is basically what the egg work is. It's like allow, open, and then receive all the goodness that comes from it. And I keep referring to egg, but it is the whole salon itself. There's so much goodness in there. But I did say to you, I was going to come back to why I do it in the morning. So it's part of my morning practice. I get up, I've always been very into fitness, really love to take care of getting my exercise done, and it's a non-negotiable. So that's my inner dude that gets me out of bed at 4:30 in the morning. We're up, we're at it, we're going. So it takes me a couple of hours because I do different sort of workouts, but I always like to finish with a walk. So it's 2 hours later after I've done all of my morning that I want to do, but I'm quite in my doing mode. So at the end of that, I take my shower, I'll do a meditation, and then I'll do my egg work or have sex with my husband. And that brings me back into my flow of being able to join back in with the family in the mode that I feel best in. That is my preference to operate from, which is calm. I like to be graceful. I like to move. And with that magnetic field, I like to bring things to me rather than have to go out and get everything done. So that's the reason why every morning it's a breast or egg work, or usually both.
Right. So. Right. Well, I love something that you said before about your pussy becoming this compass, right? And we talk about the head brain, the heart brain, people talk about the gut brain, but I would say there's the pussy brain. There's this part of us that has real sentience and is an independent entity once we wake it up, that can act as our guidance system and bringing us, and especially when we wake up, the whole orientation towards pleasure in our lives and realizing that we can allow, open, and receive pleasure, and we are built for this, and that becomes our navigation system, that we naturally then, that compass starts guiding us more and more towards things that are good for us, things that will bring us pleasure versus things that will not. So is there anything more you want to say about this internal vaginal compass that you've got going, and that voice that you're obviously able to really hear and listen to?
She very clearly will let me know if something is right, and also if something is wrong. She speaks all around, so I will know because I'm in tune with myself, and that comes from having done your work. But if she's not wet, which honestly is very rare since having done, because we've done all the salons, so we've done all the work and we continue to do it. So it just helps. She's perpetually wet, basically. But if something's not right for me, couple of things will happen. Universally, it will be very difficult and very challenging for something to be coming through, at which point I start to question, well, is this meant to be? Because it shouldn't be this hard. You do have to put in the work. Like, you can't just sign up for VKF or any of your salons and just expect that having signing up, I've done the work. You have to turn up, show up and do the work. But when she speaks and lets me know it's a yes, things will flow quite easily from the universe. She will be dripping wet, but also comfortable, just soft and sensual, and has her own essence, really. She will direct me to wear certain lingerie, like I will feel prettier in certain things, and she allows me to wear a skirt and wear no knickers. Like, she speaks up and says, not today. I'm not putting that on me. I'm not putting that in me. And when you're in tune with yourself from doing the work, you hear it loud and clear. It is like that galaxy, though. I know you would know. It's hard to put into words, so I know you would know what it feels like.
Yeah, I love that analogy.
Yeah, like the expanse is there. I am amazed when the egg or my husband is inside me, how everything fits. She's nice and tight and in the good way, muscular, she's done the work. But the depth and broadness of how much there is to offer inside, it looks like the galaxy to me in my mind of how far she has to expand to. And she would genuinely point me in directions of where to go. But as I said, for me, it's like a pulsing sense of pleasure, and it can be really directional, like walk down this aisle. We have a large factory, we have a large warehouse, and occasionally things go missing. Occasionally. And I will be sent on the hunt to go and find them, because the guys at work say, Mandy will be able to find it. And Mark has asked me, how do you find it?
Right, yeah.
And I genuinely ask her. I'm like, okay, tell me which way to go, show me when it feels good. And I just have this game, this play on pleasure, and it's kind of like self-masturbation, where you're just walking through the warehouse, feeling her throb and pulse with pleasure, and I just follow it. Whether I'm just having such a good time, I find what's missing, or but that connection she shows me.
So is it like, okay, you go down aisle 8 and it pulses even more, or you go down aisle 6 and the pulsing gets dimmer? Is that how it works?
Yes. And then I will actually say, okay, tell me, like say I'm in aisle 8 and I know this is the aisle, but we go from A to Z on the alphabet. So I can be standing at G. Now, okay, so we're in the right spot. Which way do I need to go? And then I will play with it and walk a bit this way and walk a bit the other way. And then I will know which way to go, judging by the pleasure.
Like
and
hot,
I swear to you.
Yeah. Hot, cold, wet, dry, bliss, numb. It's like a totally different navigation system.
And I will say, I always say thank you. You have to be so, like she has, when you say she's her own sentient being, I'm so grateful to her. So there's always the practice of thank you. Thank you so much for showing me, which feels really good. So, yeah, and she rewards in her own ways with giving back at that pleasure. But also, so that's a directional thing, but I can also use her for car park situations, like during Christmas. That was horrendous. It was asking her, like, help me find the right car park, like show me where to go so we can get a space. I want to get in and out of here as quickly as possible. And she's there for you. And the kids giggle at me in the car because I'm like, thank you very much.
Do they know you're thanking your vagina?
The eldest one does, yeah. She's 19. Well, she's not my eldest, but the 19-year-old does. Yes, she knows.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to say, she loves your work as well. She's edging her way towards exploring VKF herself. It's good.
And you're redoing VKF this year with your sister.
Indeed, I am. I don't think she will mind me sharing this. I received a text message from her about probably 3 weeks ago now. Yeah, it would have been the beginning of January. She was on holidays and she asked me, knowing that I've done your work and also other work. And to be honest, I've always been quite sexual, even as a young child. I used to masturbate at an early age and I got teased about it. Probably from the ages of 7 or 8, my siblings would tease me about the way that I self-pleasured. So it's beautiful that that didn't seem to affect me with too many demons. But she came to me, about 3 weeks ago and said, what would you do if, like I've got this medication that my doctor has recommended for me for hormone replacement therapy. I was thinking I might use coconut oil. She had a list of things that she had been looking into. She really didn't want to do the hormonal HRT, but I genuinely responded with, look, this is what I've done. I would not recommend anything else. I sent her the link to your pages. I told her to watch the 3 videos for VKF.
Yeah.
And was like, just watch these. And she said, would you get the egg and would you use coconut oil? I was like, just watch these videos, just listen, because coming from me, it's not the same as hearing it from you, genuinely. So like, just watch it, see what you think. She has had in the last 3 weeks, she registered today. She sent me a screenshot of that to say I'm fully in and registered. So super exciting. But she also ordered the salonette of just the egg kit so she could get started on that. But she also, I experienced this as well. As soon as she knew she was going to do it, she watched those 3 videos, knew that night I'm doing it, spoke to her husband, and the shifts that are already occurring. She feels incredible. They had their first 2.5-hour sex date on the weekend. She was like, I've not experienced anything like that. She's like devouring all your videos like I did. So, and her life is just already shifted so much, and you haven't even started this round of VKF.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing.
I know, gushing already. So yeah, I said I would do it alongside her as well, just so we can chat to each other, and it's fun to revisit it. So
yeah, I love that. So tell me more about your your morning practices? So you mentioned the jade egg and the breast massage. Are those your primary, like, do you do, because I think like the jade egg, and I would even separate that out from self-pleasuring and say using any of the dildos, the Holy Trinity, and then breast massage. Like what would an average, let's say you 3 times a week practice, what might that look like? And what are your top practices that you feel are the most helpful for bringing you into that feminine energy?
So I start out with a meditation, just the Hugh Chant meditation to bring me back into where I want to be after I've done the workout. I also make it known, the whole family knows because I work out from home, I'll get all my workout done. I'm available. I'm yours. You can interrupt. Try not to, but you can. But as soon as I go downstairs back to my sanctuary in our bedroom, the door is closed. It's just mum's time now. So I just need usually about half an hour. It's just half an hour of a meditation. It's 2 to 3 minutes of meditation just to come back into center. I will then start with not just breast massage, but just massaging and feeling your body just to let myself know I'm here. I've got you. Sometimes I will do that in the mirror if I'm feeling like I need an extra dose of the self-love, that I'm just feeling a bit out of control. Maybe, frenzied is the word that I use quite often. I get quite frenzied and have to get everything done. So, I will speak to my own eyes and hold myself. I will then have the egg work, which I will say the kids have come down and interrupted. All of them have. Now when they come down and they see that I'm laying on my bed, all I have to say is I'm just doing my egg work. And they go, oh, okay, sorry. And they leave the room. Like this, I have my hands between my legs holding the string and the egg's up inside. And I'm like, I'm just doing my egg work. Like,
well, it's like
okay,
it's like doing abs at the end of a workout, right?
yes.
Like you go workout, abs, egg work.
Yep. So, and then this is the final, it's a non-negotiable final piece of the morning routine to bring me back, and I'm good to go for the rest of the day then. But it's start with the self, coming back in, then I will use the egg to rev things up. I always have an orgasm after the egg work, always. I know sometimes in your work you can say just rev it up, you just use the egg work to rev it up. For me, I get the rev up. I always finish with an orgasm in my morning practice because I feel reset. I feel, okay, now we can go and get asked 70 questions every hour by 4 different children who live here.
The greatest reset. The greatest reset of all.
Yes, every day. So whether that's with Mark or with the egg or both, it's but I also have the dildos. I have 2 of the dildos, so they're amazing.
Which is your favorite? Do you have a favorite? You're talking about the Holy Trinity.
I do. I don't have the third piece, so that's on the list of things. It would be, Siva's on the way, so I think Anahata. Is Anahata the cervical one?
Yes.
Yes, so Anahata for me, yeah. And cervical orgasms for me, G-spot took longer to come to, but the egg really helps me get there. So I can sit the egg in the spot that I now know as my G-zone, and that crystal energy, just the energy of having that solid piece there, that will rev up my G-spot and I can really work from there. But previous to VKF, I knew I had a G-spot. My whole vagina was quite pleasurable, but I wouldn't have been able to articulate between areas. I would have just said sex was amazing. I actually do remember saying, what was that? And so not knowing, but just knowing it was epic and amazing. So, but now with the egg work and you get to explore, contracting onto the egg tells me where parts are in my vagina. And you can close your eyes, connect with the egg, and you can really see your own vagina from inside. So, which is also really helpful when you're connecting with your partner, to use that same process sometimes. If I'm a bit in my head and I'm needing to get back into my body, closing my eyes and I can picture his lingam inside my yoni and picturing the different spots. I even said to him last week, I've found a new spot with the egg has opened up some portal over here. Like, and so, yes, even like, what are we, like 4 years later now? Yeah. And that's why I say it's like the galaxy. It's just so expansive. And yet you'll open up what must be the tiniest little piece actually inside you, but it feels like, oh my gosh, this is huge and so expansive and ongoing. So I got off track there because I'm thinking about that. But
because you come back to the vaginal galaxy quite a bit, which is really beautiful.
Might be the name of the podcast. But yes, so part of the morning is to do I always finish with the pleasure, always. So whether it's sometimes with the egg inside, but I will use my fingers, or the dildo or my husband. So yeah.
I love it.
That would finish my morning.
And what about breast massage? Breast
massage, I get a bit slack with that because Mark adores them. So he makes me a bit lazy because he does it all. But I can tell when I have not been giving them enough attention. And they're very sentient on their own as well. So when I am doing the breast massage, you can see how much I love the galaxy of the pussy because I'm always going towards it. Need to do more work on the breasts. But when I do the work on the breasts, they speak as well. They are very guiding, and they will plump up and appear younger maybe, or just perkier. They're more alive, yeah, when you give them the attention that they deserve. So
yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Wonderful. Is there anything else you want to add that we haven't covered?
No, I do feel like we've covered everything. I just really did want to express when he's around, it's just a done deal. But when he's not, have used my egg. It's 4 years and it's just been a journey, but it's mostly beautiful. The egg is always beautiful. The work itself, I know my sister is about to start and I said to her, it'll knock you for 6. Like, what you think you're coming in for, you get a different deal. And she's like, what do you mean? And I went, it will amaze you what comes up that you thought. For me, I knew that existed in my life and I knew this is something that's happened in my past and it's dealt with, it's done, because I knew it was there. But then you do the work with Kim and you realize, oh, it's still really in there. And so from that part of BKF as well, doing the work with you to let go of what's still really in there opens her up to flower and really open, allow and receive. It just... the more you let go of it, the more you can bring in all that beauty and squishy and softness. So, yeah.
I love that. And also to reiterate, like where we started with, you talked about you guys have a big move coming up. And for those who haven't heard the $1 Million Blowjob podcast that Amanda is the star of, they went on a multi-day oral sex date commitment. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you could tell that story, it's a great story, and that, that led to basically that was a step on the journey you're on now, which is a cross planet move to a whole new country and a whole new life.
So that was a 90-minute blowjob for my husband. Well, is blowjob even the right word? But yes, he's
pleasuring, worship, cock love.
It is, actually as well, cock worship is something that I would use just as much as the egg from the bringing you back to your feminine perspective. Nothing beats filling yourself up with your man, or like whether he's in your mouth or in your vagina, or you've got your egg and you use that. Being filled up really opens up that feminine portal. See, I got off tangent again.
No, that's great. That's a really good point to mention, is that there is something about drawing something and holding something in that, in our voids as the feminine, that then I think that yin yang happens of extra yin, and then it propels back into yang somehow.
I think the word void too that you just mentioned, the void is my frenzy. So when I'm not actively embodying that feminine softness and I've fallen into the void and I'm just cascading, I'm falling, I'm tumbling, and I'm trying to catch myself, and there's so much effort going into like, what do I need to do? What do I need to get back on track with? And usually it'd be all this external stuff, like I'll need to work out more, I need to eat better, or I need to, I don't know, I don't drink, so I was going to say I need to not drink, but I don't anyway. But it comes back to, because that void exists, it needs to be filled. And once you fill the void with some form of energy, whether it's your partner's masculine energy or you use the tools from the toolkit you help us with in VKF, that fills the void and you can come back home. Yeah. Does that cover it?
That's absolutely beautiful. I love that, Amanda. Thank you so much. It's so great to have an update from you and hear even more about all of the depths that you guys have covered together in your own journey. So thank you so much for sharing, as always.
Thank you. Thank you. And as I say, I can't recommend your work enough. I do recommend it, and it's so sincere. And I can't wait for my sister to get on board with the journey and hear about all of her adventures, and everyone else's. I know you know this, but I always listen to the callbacks, because with that lifetime access that we have, you can listen to the replays. So I come back every year because the questions, they stay the same. It's surprising how we're all asking the same thing year after year, but you still get a sense of where people are at. The kids have just gotten out of the pool, and yeah, it will always remind me of where I want to be and how I want to be in the world. And it just, brings me back to center, even just listening to it. So the replays are so fun. I love the questions. There'll always be something in there that I wanted to know that too, even when I didn't realize I wanted to know it. It's there, and it's awesome. So thank you.
The collective vaginal unconscious.
It's amazing. Thank you, Kim.
All of the practices Amanda talks about for cultivating her feminine energy and awakening her vagina to be the ultimate truth teller and divining rod are what we do in Vaginal Kung Fu. From the jade egg vaginal workouts to the breast massage routines, self-pleasuring practices, and vaginal reconnaissance, it's all here. Plus, all of my quantum techniques for you to clear blockages, dive into sexual shadow work, reset your nervous system from the deepest possible level, and clear the channel so your vagina can function as your ultimate GPS in your life. And of course, orgasm giver. All this and more in Vaginal Kung Fu. We've expanded the salon to 10 weeks and added loads of new material and practices for you, including 4 live calls each week. You have lifetime access to all of the material, so you can revisit it again and again like Amanda does. The salon is only open for registration for 2 weeks out of every year, and then it's gone again until 2025. It's open now, and it will be for the next 2 weeks. Go to kimanami.com, look for Sexual Savant Salons, and then click on Vaginal Kung Fu. And you too can have a super magnetic, gushing, lubricating, ejaculating, multi-million-dollar vagina. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, subscribe and also leave a review. And send someone else the gift of a healthy libido and an off-the-charts love life by sharing this episode with them. We'll be back next week, and in the meantime, many happy orgasms.